Today was supposed to be the final day that South Park is streaming on HBO Max, but it appears for the time being, it's going to continue to live on that streamer. Not only this, Matt Stone and Trey Parker are actually threatening to sue Paramount over perceived contract meddling, or at least suing the incoming regime at Paramount. I know it's insane that I'm making another video about this. It's only been 5 days since the last one, but this update is pretty crazy, so let's dive into it. Okay, I know we've done this so many times, but here is a quick brief recap of everything so far with this insane saga. So Paramount was being sued by Warner Brothers because of a perceived breach in exclusivity contract over the South Park streaming rights. Basically, South Park started making specials exclusive for Paramount when they were supposed to be streaming all of their episodes exclusively on HBO Max. It does seem like Paramount is poised to lose that lawsuit, so we'll see how it pans out, but it doesn't look great. Then last month, it was actually reported that the move to Paramount Plus, which was supposed to happen in July of this year, might not be exclusive. There's a chance that the show is going to continue streaming on HBO or elsewhere in addition to Paramount Plus. Then last week, it was actually reported that it might not even air on Paramount Plus because the incoming head of Skydance, who is merging with Paramount, had yet to approve the new contract negotiation for the streaming rights on Paramount Plus. And now, of course, we see that HBO Max is retaining the rights, at least for the time being. It still remains to be seen whether or not HBO Max will keep South Park beyond its planned introduction to Paramount Plus, which is supposed to happen on July 1st, just in time for the new season of South Park, season 27, which airs on July 9th on Comedy Central. But now it again remains to be seen if it's even going to reach Paramount Plus, which is crazy because season 27 was actually supposed to simultaneously air on Paramount Plus and Comedy Central at the same time. Now it appears it's just going to be on Comedy Central, and it again remains to be seen how quickly that will hit streaming. This is all crazy. Like, this is a lot. There's a lot going on here. It's a lot of legalese. It's a lot of nonsense. The show is going to stream somewhere, whether or not it's continuing its life on HBO Max, whether or not it's going to come to Paramount Plus, or whether both of those contracts end up imploding and the show will probably end up streaming somewhere else, because we know for a fact that a lot of other streamers want to have South Park on their platform, which makes sense. It is a huge, massively popular, long-running show with 300 plus episodes, and it gets people talking. It's like kind of an ideal show to have on a streaming platform. It's also just way too much money for Matt and Trey and Paramount to leave on the table in terms of these streaming rights. Whether Paramount is using it to try and draw people into Paramount Plus, or they're just getting a huge deal from another streaming service. And we know Matt and Trey actually own 50% of the digital revenue for South Park in perpetuity, which is an insane deal that would never be made today. But at the time when it was made, which was a couple decades ago at this point, streaming had yet to take off in the way that it has, and they just had incredible foresight into how valuable those rights would be. But apparently Matt and Trey are threatening litigation towards Paramount and towards Skydance over perceived contract meddling. Basically, the incoming regime at Paramount from Skydance sort of messing with their negotiations in terms of what they want out of a negotiation with other streaming platforms, even though they aren't in charge at Paramount yet. There are apparently some pretty specific things that they've been meddling with, and also that we know about the ongoing streaming negotiations. We apparently know that Netflix wants the show, which does not surprise me at all. But the new Paramount president wants an exclusive 12-month window for new episodes of South Park on Paramount Plus, so that those would not air on any other streaming service within 1 year of being aired, which feels a little excessive to me. 1 year is a lot. I think you could probably bring that down to even just a few months and still get the most excited people to stream on Paramount Plus because they want to see new South Park. Apparently, Warner Brothers does want to keep South Park, and they want to keep it for 10 years, but the new Paramount president actually wants to lower that to 5 years. 10 years does feel excessive. I'm not surprised that they want to give them a smaller exclusivity window, or not exclusivity, but streaming rights window, because I imagine that at some point Paramount will want to own this exclusively. They're trying to make some money in the short term on South Park, but in the long term, having that library exclusively on your streaming service is definitely more valuable, in my opinion at least. The representation for Matt and Trey have said some pretty interesting things in a release statement. Here in the Hollywood Reporter article, it reads, they said this: "We hereby demand that you, Redbird and Skydance, immediately cease your interference. If these activities continue, we will have no choice but to act to both protect our rights and discharge any obligations we may have to the public." Now, that's a crazy statement, because that would mean they might just refuse to make more South Park. They might refuse to abide by any requests from Paramount in regards to South Park. And that's basically just them leveraging the situation and saying, hey, if you guys aren't going to keep up your end of the bargain, neither are we. And it's effectively a strike. So South Park Digital Studios is claiming this interference is illegal. Skydance claims that they have the right to approve material contracts for the incoming merger and acquisition for Paramount. Another part of the statement said this: you did this behind Park County's back. That self-dealing would have been absolutely restricted if it were done by Paramount itself, so it is simply outrageous that even before it has been granted the authority to close the merger with Paramount, Redbird and Skydance are jumping the gun and using confidential information of South Park Digital Studios to purport to make demands on behalf of South Park Digital Studios that even Paramount has no right to make. There's a lot of vying for positioning here and trying to determine who has the rights to make demands in terms of these contract negotiations. It feels like a lot of this Skydance stuff was sort of initially a handshake deal, knowing that they're coming in to take over Paramount. Paramount was like, okay, well, you guys are going to be able to approve any negotiations that we are making at the moment, and negotiations that we have to make before this is approved, but we know you're the incoming regime, so we will take your consideration into account. It is pretty interesting to see how the new Paramount regime is handling this. It seems like they're trying to balance how much they can get for the streaming rights in South Park in the short term, while also trying to maintain some semblance of exclusivity. Obviously not entirely exclusive, but they want to maintain new episodes on Paramount Plus for at least a year before they're on any other streaming service. So that's an important exclusivity contract there, is new episodes will only be on Paramount Plus for a year. At the same time, Matt and Trey are justifiably fielding offers from other streaming services. All these other streaming services want to stream the show. They're of course going to negotiate with them because they want to have the most leverage they can. They're going to say, hey, look, Netflix is offering us this much, HBO is offering us this much, this is what they're worth. This has like been ongoing for a few years now, this kind of feud between Paramount and Max, and now between the South Park Studios and Matt and Trey, and they're kind of, arguing with their parent company. I also wouldn't be surprised if more aspects of this came to light, including how they feel about the episodes that have been banned from Paramount Plus. There are a lot of episodes of South Park that have just simply been removed internationally, and everyone is anticipating that once the show hits Paramount Plus, those episodes likely also won't be available here in the United States. I can't imagine Matt and Trey would be cool with this. They're people who have fought censorship their entire careers and have always fought tooth and nail for the right to be able to air the work that they've made. That's kind of what the entire South Park movie is about. It's kind of crazy how often that this is something that they're dealing with. I imagine this will also be taken into consideration in terms of their decision on where this show will stream in the future, or at least used for leverage in terms of maybe getting those episodes to actually play on Paramount Plus. Honestly, this has been such an insane, massive, ongoing saga that I think I probably have to make like a main channel big video about the entire thing. Like, I've made videos about it before, I've made videos about aspects of it, I've talked a lot about it, but the fact that this has been so ongoing, so crazy in so many different ways, I feel like that could be a really long, substantial video getting into all of the nitty-gritty details of it. But we'll see. I don't think they're going to sue Paramount, but I do think they're going to continue to threaten to sue Paramount until things go their way. I am really curious if the show will continue to live on HBO Max or if it will end up elsewhere. I feel like they're probably going to come to a deal with HBO Max at some point, and it'll probably simultaneously stream on HBO Max and Paramount Plus, but also don't count out Netflix. Netflix has money. Honestly, in terms of like the show getting the most attention, Netflix is probably the spot, which is annoying to say, but it's true. Okay, that's what I got. Let me know below in the comments what you think about this, and we'll talk about it probably soon. I bet there's more updates ASAP because the show's supposed to hit Paramount Plus in like a week. We'll see if it does.
I stay mellow watching Johnny two cellos. He talks cartoons, he's a really cool fellow. He keeps you posted on adult cartoons. If that's what you're into, then grab a spoon and a very big bowl of your favorite cereal. Feels like Saturday morning cartoon material. Johnny two cellos, watch him on YouTube. Now enjoy this groove and bust a move.